As we enter into the spirit and enthusiasm of this meeting, let us consider the broader aspects of this program and its far-reaching benefits to our national life, and how you are helping to build for the leaders of tomorrow, just as the leaders of yesterday built for us today. Your work goes far beyond the immediate aims of this program. It carries on into the future and will strengthen and perpetuate the high ideals of this nation to the future betterment of thousands of individuals. You are members of that great body of men and women whose leadership and personal sacrifice build and maintain our fundamental institutions, without which free enterprise and democracy could not endure. The most important aspects of American life have come through the voluntary efforts of its citizens. Their willingness to work together, their spirit of cooperation, their desire to build for tomorrow are what founded America. These are the qualities which carried the pioneers across an unknown, trackless sea. With little knowledge of navigation and in unseaworthy ships, they faced all dangers. In crowded quarters, disease and starvation threatened them constantly. They set up their homes in these primitive structures and worked together for their ideals of religious and political freedom. Their foothold on the shores of this new continent was maintained because of their unwillingness to let hardship and sacrifice deter them from their objectives. They built towns and villages in the east and then moved westward across the mountains and plains. Building as they went, they set up shops and factories, cleared the forests and cultivated the land, discovered natural resources, and established themselves in small communities to develop the wealth of this vast new continent. From Boston on the shores of the Atlantic to San Francisco at the Golden Gate of the far Pacific Ocean, and from New Orleans on the Gulf of Mexico to Chicago on Lake Michigan, their work and heroism built a free America. They faced discouragement on every hand, but the will to succeed was ever present. No obstacle was too great, no force too strong for them to oppose. They worked, sacrificed, and gave their lives for a common cause. This is the true spirit of America. It is our heritage. Since the founding of America, this willingness to work together and to sacrifice for our fundamental institutions had created over 500,000 buildings and agencies throughout the country. These include churches, colleges, hospitals, and other agencies of character building, health, education, and community welfare. Our method is to provide living memorials connected with our great institutions for human betterment. Through the ages, men have recognized the need for creating and supporting our religious, educational, and philanthropic organizations. The names of the benefactors are immortalized in the structures of these institutions. All over America today, in every city and town and on every college campus, stand memorials in honor of those who have gone before and for the use and enjoyment of the living. Some memorials have been noble buildings. Others have been just a name on a scroll or bronze tablet that will be read by the generations that come after us. By building such memorials, the benefactors have become a part of the institutions which are creating the leaders of tomorrow and which are giving aid and comfort to the sick and unfortunate individuals. These men have recognized their obligation to the progress of civilization. We all need to remind ourselves of the debt we owe our predecessors for whatever success we have had in life. No matter what our resources and ambitions may be, our difficulties in realizing them would be almost insurmountable without the backlog of knowledge and service passed on to us from the generations which have gone before. Our country's progress has been built on the further contribution of each generation to the aggregate. It cannot be overlooked that men are remembered not for what they receive, but for what they give. Just as we of the present have drawn from the heritage left by our forefathers, so the men and women of tomorrow must have to help them something from today. or civilization will stand still. That is the essence of our debt to the future. You and your prospects through this campaign are going to help pay a part of that debt. As Emerson said, the true test of civilization is not the census, nor the size of the cities, nor the crops. No, but the kind of a man the country turns out. You as fundraisers for this valuable objective are double benefactors. You give not only your money, but your precious time and energy to encourage others to give. You are benefactors who create benefactors. You are giving others a favorable chance to show their philanthropic spirit by investing some of their money in a worthwhile cause. The suggestions on fundraising which follow have been prepared to help you do your part more effectively. Many of you have had experience in community campaigns or similar efforts. Perhaps most of these campaigns were for annual amounts and covered all the people, regardless of their interests. This campaign is different because it is for a capital fund and will not be held each year. Therefore, the subscriptions are to be payable over a longer period of time and must be larger in amount. Also, this campaign is appealing to a limited group of prospects who have been carefully selected because of their interest in this program. In order to make your solicitations easier and more profitable, the following proven guides to effective soliciting will inform you of the most successful procedures used for more than 25 years by others like you who have had a sincere belief in the needs of their institution and a real desire to achieve the most favorable results possible. These methods have helped to raise over $500 million. The more closely these procedures are followed, the more successful our campaign will be. In this campaign, you play the important part. Each of you must recognize that you are essential to the success of this great program. And the time and financial help you give this program will greatly influence the future of our institution for years to come. You are not going out to interview enemies, but friends. Your friends. And friends of the institution we serve. Make no mistake about it, they will be glad to see you. They will want to do their share just as you are anxious to do yours. A pledge card has been prepared for each prospect. You will select carefully the cards of those you wish to see from the card racks later at this meeting. Write your name on the stub of the pledge card, showing that you have taken responsibility for that person. Tear off the stub, seal it in the envelope provided, leave the envelope at the door before you leave the room after this meeting. Ask for a pledge card for anyone who has been left out but who should be seen. Give us all address corrections. Do not solicit anyone whose card you do not hold. To enable you to do the best possible job, you have been provided with a complete set of literature and a sales manual. Read them. The full utilization of this literature will enable you to step up your pledges appreciably. Prepare yourself for your interviews thoroughly. Know and believe in the purpose of this campaign, how much money is needed, what it will be used for, what the results will mean in terms of service. You are not begging money. You are selling shares in one of America's greatest enterprises, one that helps to bolster the American way of life. You are giving your friends a chance to invest in this great enterprise, just as you are doing. An investment which will produce great returns for the future of our country and the world. And it will also pay your friends dividends in self-esteem and satisfaction. Feel confidence in your own ability to tell the story persuasively to each prospect. By the way, you do not need to be a professional salesman to be a successful worker in this campaign. Most of our workers are not. To be a successful worker, you need only to have the desire to succeed and the willingness to follow the methods suggested here. Feel confident that each prospect will give and give generously. He will react favorably to your high estimate of his character and ability. Plan to call on your most important prospects first, and plan in advance each interview in the light of your knowledge of the prospect. You have selected your prospects. You believe they will do their part. You have prepared yourself. First, turn in your own signed pledge card. You cannot sell what you have not first sold yourself. Now you are ready for the first interview. How will you open it? Not by telling your prospect you have come to solicit him for money, but by winning the prospect's attention through discussing some personal interest of his own. And then by saying, "Bill, I've got something interesting here to show you." What do you have to show him? The sales manual, prepared to help you open and carry through the interview. A good presentation has 5 essential features. Gets the prospect's interest from the start. Tells the full story convincingly, yet briefly. Adequately develops the needs. Shows the prospect why he should personally participate. Suggests a specific part for him in the program. The sales manual is designed to present all 5 of these essentials. Use it. Tell your prospect you picked his card because you knew he would be interested. It will compliment him and give him greater confidence in you. Usually, most of them will ask you, "What have you got me down for?" Or, "What do you think I should give?" Thus, the door is open for you to discuss the prospect's share without any embarrassment. Don't tell him you have him down for so much. Only the prospect can decide how much he can give. Instead, say to him, "If you can see your way clear, the friends of the campaign thought you might like to buy so many shares at so many dollars per month for 30 months. If the prospect card has no notation, ask for at least 1 share at so many dollars per month for 30 months. Know all about and believe in the value of taking shares. They lift the campaign into new levels of success. Learn about the memorials through which some will wish to have names perpetually remembered. Unless your sights are high, some of your prospects may be thinking in terms of larger subscriptions than you are. This method of presenting a specific amount for his consideration not only raises more money, but pleases the prospect. John D. Rockefeller Jr. has publicly stated that this is the way he prefers to be approached. Show him what others are doing, the many who are organized to work, the amount already contributed. This campaign is going to succeed. Recognize that in a great capital fund campaign, immediate cash gifts will not be enough. The budgeting of our giving over 3 years is essential. If your prospect suggests a cash payment now, ask him to consider a 30-month subscription. Explain that most people are budgeting their giving over 3 tax years. Some are paying monthly, some quarterly, and others annually. Make it clear that this program can succeed only as a 30-month program. Be sure the prospect understands why he should participate. Use the sales manual. Then present him with his own personal pledge card. Get his signature on this first visit if possible. Do not accept an unsatisfactory amount or a refusal on the first visit as final. Leave the door open for a second or third visit, or a visit by someone else. If your prospect says, "I want to think it over, I will mail you my card when my mind is made up," you may answer, I do want you to think over such an important matter. When may I come back with your card to talk it over further? But under no circumstances leave the pledge card with the prospect to be mailed or picked up. Gifts may be deducted in computing federal income taxes as long as in the aggregate they do not exceed 15% of the donor's adjusted gross income. A gift may be made in cash, securities, real property, or any other kind of property. A gift of securities that cost less than their present market value would be of maximum use to the donor and to this program. For example, stock which cost $5,000 and now has a market value of $10,000 can be given without subjecting the donor to any tax on the $5,000 capital gain, and the donor is entitled to deduct $10,000 in figuring his income taxes, provided he is within the 15% limit. Do not do any of this work by mail or telephone. Cover your prospects quickly and thoroughly. Make personal interviews. You can't use the sales manual in a letter or over the telephone. Don't even telephone the prospect for an appointment. Just drop in to see him at his home or business. Plan to work in pairs. Working in pairs always produces the best results. Subscriptions are usually much higher and refusals are fewer. When campaigns fail, it is because people are not seen, not because they refuse. A series of report meetings will be held at spaced intervals following the opening dinner. At these meetings, reports will be made on the progress in securing subscriptions. Attend all campaign report meetings. Usually, only attenders are producers. Carefully fill in the information requested on each pledge card, those who have given and those who have not. Place the cards in a report envelope, recording the results on the outside of the envelope. Bring your report to the report meeting. Come even if you have no report. Your very presence is important. Whatever the result, remember that you are an ambassador of goodwill. Leave the prospect better informed and more friendly toward us than he was before your interview. Remember, in this campaign, you play the important part. As L.U.U. Root said, the general, the statesman, the man of affairs, all pass away and are forgotten. But to have builded oneself into the structures of these undying institutions, to have aided the development of these priceless agencies of civilization, is to have lived not in vain, but is to have lived in perpetuity.